Great to see you, Chad Pergram. Joining us now from House Judiciary, Congressman Kelly Armstrong. Congressman, it's good to see you. What's your reaction to that hearing today?
Well, my reaction is, as if we're all done with the hearing, I still don't know what the department's policy on recording interviews is, because when it's beneficial for them not to release it, they talk about interviews being the single most important part of their investigation. But you know, in January we had to mark up a bill forcing them to record custodial interrogations. So it's a lot of maneuvering, it's a lot of trying to run out the clock before the next election. But at the end of the day, I think we were right to mark up contempt, and I think we deserve the audio tape.
So the Attorney General pushing back on this contempt of Congress resolution. He's not turning over the audio tape recording of Special Counsel Robert Hur's interview of President Biden in his probe into Biden's mishandling of classified documents. Why do Americans need to hear that audio recording?
Well, the Judiciary Committee needs to hear the audio recording, mostly because we're entitled to it. It's the best evidence available. And you and I both know, I used to do this for a living. When you have the best version of the evidence and you are doing an investigation, you're entitled to the best version of the evidence. Transcripts don't read the same way audio sounds, particularly when you read Special Prosecutor Hur's report about the reasons for not prosecuting President Biden. That sounds very different than it reads on a transcript, and that in and of itself is a reason enough to get it.
So this is about Congress's constitutional authority to do oversight. You know, Robert Hur described Biden as an elderly man with a poor memory because the president forgot when his vice presidency started. That's according to the transcript, and ended. He didn't know when it began and ended, as well as a date of when his late son Beau Biden passed away. A.G. Garland testified he said he himself did not listen to the audio tape. That's surprising. Watch what happened today.
Attorney General, have you listened to the audio recording?
I have not, because there's no reason for me to listen to it in order to make the determinations that I had to make. We had the special counsel describe in detail his explanations for his determinations.
So let me, I don't understand how you can kind of sit before the congressional committee and kind of arbitrate what's indistinguishable from the transcripts if you're not even sure what's on the tapes themselves.
I'm not.
What do you make of him not listening to the audio? I mean, wait, so let me back up. The Biden Justice Department issues a cleaned up paper transcript of Biden's interview, reportedly taking out and removing his stuttering, his pauses, his losing his train of thought, and he didn't listen to the audio?
Yeah, and I just reject the premise that he has the authority to say which version we get. I don't think it's a coincidence. I'm not sure if Special Prosecutor Hur wouldn't have resigned that we would have ever originally got the transcript. But once we know the audio exists, it's not his decision to make. We get to, in any adversarial process, whether it's a criminal defense attorney in court or Congress trying to do oversight over the executive branch, we're entitled to the best evidence available, and that's not his decision to make.
So let's move on to this. Congressman Matt Gaetz really grilled and questioned in a really tough way A.G. Garland on how the Justice Department is politicized, saying and asking whether they're involved in the cases against former President Trump. Watch this.
Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis' office and Letitia James's office? Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump.
I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, let me back up. He said, I had nothing to do with it. He's saying he's not going to turn over any information about that in answer to that question. If you have nothing to do with it, why wouldn't you be comfortable in turning over and fully answering Congressman Gaetz' question?
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, we have a lot of people saying that we're losing faith in our institutions, and how dare anybody criticize our institutions. But I would just contend everybody should look in a mirror. Maybe one of the reasons we're losing faith in our institutions is because they're not doing it fairly and appropriately, and the American people can see that.
Congressman Kelly Armstrong, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me.